This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. It's a delight to be here with you in these guitar lessons. It's a Technique Tuesday, and on these Technique Tuesdays right now, we're working on some scale patterns that are going to help us develop that dexterity in the left hand. So, we're just using a basic major scale form. I've got that up here on the board. Of course, on Theory Thursdays, we've gone over ways to play the major scale all over the fretboard. Really great stuff. We're just going to use one form here as we work on these techniques that can help us get dexterity happening in that left hand, control between the right and left hands, and so on. So I'm just going to stick this, and I've just got that up here on the board in case this is the first lesson you're jumping in or you need that as a review. But I'm going to stick that root right there with the box around it at the 6th fret on the 6th string. So I'm going to play B flat, and that puts us right in the middle of the fretboard in a great place to work on this. Now, of course, it's great to practice these all over the fretboard, and you can play them with any type of scale, any scale form. So they're really great just to work different things with and gain that control. But we're going to work it with the major scale. Great place to start right here in the center of the fretboard, which is also a great place to start. In this lesson, we're going to work it in sixes, in groups of 6. So we've done groups of 5, groups of 4, groups of 3. So we're going to go ahead and look at groups of 6, and what that means is I'm going to play 6 of the notes. So I'm going to play from that root up to the 6th in an ascending fashion, and then I'm going to start on step 2 and play up to the 7th, which would be 6 steps, and I'm going to start on beat 3 and play up to the root, then 4 up to 2, then 5 up to 3, 6 up to 4, 7 up to 5, and then we got that root up to the 6, we've got the 2 up to the 7, and the 3 up to the higher root, and then 4 up to 2. So we just work in that fashion. Then as we come back down, we're just going to go in reverse while still doing the ascending scale. So we just went from 4 to 2. That means we're going to go back to 3, up to that root, then down to the 2nd, up to the 7th, then the root to the 6th, then the 7th to the 5th, and we'll do the 6th, up to the 4th, the 5th, up to the 3rd, and then the 4th, up to the 2nd, 3rd, up to that root, 2nd, up to the 7th, root, up to the 6th, we're going to go down to the 7th, up to that 5th, and then we're back to the root. Now, I've placed in this particular scale form all the notes available in that position. So we've got that root, but we also have the 7th that goes below it, and up on top we have that 2nd that goes above it. So I'm including all the notes in the position. That's how it works. I'm going to play through it now without talking. You can play right along with me. Of course, with all of these, we want to start out nice and slow, get them accurate first, and then over time build them up to as fast of a tempo as we can get them to while still playing accurately. You also want to watch with these long runs, 6 notes we're doing. Sometimes we're going to have to be using our fingers in a rolling sort of fashion, where if I roll from one note to the next or backwards, if I've got it laid out flat and I pull it up, that's easier sometimes than picking up your finger. And so there's going to be places where those kinds of things happen, as I've mentioned in some of the previous Technique Tuesday lessons where we've been working on these kinds of things. We'll go ahead and play this together, and you can learn it at whatever tempo you can get it up to. So go ready and... Now, if in some of those places you get caught off guard and don't catch the roll, it's okay to lift up your finger, but for building up speed, it does get easier as you work the roll. So that was in an ascending fashion. Of course, once we can do those sixths in an ascending fashion, we want to do it in a descending fashion as well. So in that case, we'd start on step 6 of the scale and descend down to the root. And then we'd do step 7 down to step 2. Then that root down to step 3. Then that high 2 down to step 4. Then the 3 down to step 5, then the 4 down to step 6, the 5 down to step 7, the 6 down to the root, the 7th down to the 2, the root down to the 3, and that high 2 down to the 4. Once we've done that, then we can continue backwards because we've reached the highest point in this particular position. So we then go back to the root, down to that 3, and then the 7 down to the 2, 6 down to that root, 5 down to the 7, 4 down to the 6, 3 to the 5, 2 to the 4, root to the 3, 7 down to the 2, 6 down to the root, 5 down to the 7, and then we can just end there, back on the root, or you can do the 6 again and come down to the root, just like that. And so we work these. Now, besides helping our finger control, it actually helps us learn the scales really well. So if you're into things like improvising and that sort of thing, this can help you get inside of scale patterns, even arpeggio patterns, though doing 6 with arpeggio patterns doesn't really work, but you could work on 2s if you wanted to, skipping over 1, going in groups of 3. Doesn't work as well with arpeggios, but with the scales, it really helps us find where those notes are and gets us prepared both physically and sort of mentally when we're working on improvisation. I'm going to play through this one now, and I'm going to go through it without talking. I will say, though, it can help if you get lost inside of where we are to just always think what step to what step you're going, which does help with that mental learning of whatever scale you're working on, in this case, this form of the major scale. So start there on step 6, and we go ready and... Just like that. And of course, if you get that down nice and slow, then you work it up to faster tempos. So these are really, really, really great. Now, sometimes if you're trying to think between what step to what step you're going to, it gets a little hard to remember. So if you can just remember what step you're starting on and then just get inside of going 6 steps inside the scale, then that works really well. In the next Technique Tuesday lesson, we'll look at doing interval skips with 6. So I'll do those with you. These are really great. These are some of the things, learning scales, and then some of these types of exercises were some of the things that really helped me get my hands in shape when I was first learning to play the guitar. on a more serious level. So hope these are helpful. Hope you're having fun. Besides Technique Tuesdays, we got Theory Thursdays. We got jazz lessons coming out on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And right now, we've got lessons on improvisation over the rock, blues, pop styles on Saturdays. So lots of great lessons. And of course, there's hundreds of lessons already on the channel to help you with playing the guitar. So keep at it, keep having fun, take care, and we'll see you again. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more in-depth lessons and to progress through a free guitar course, check out my Guitar 101 series on YouTube and my guitar method books, which all come with access to hours of in-depth video lessons. You can find more information about me and my products at KristenBromley.com. Take care.